Hey, hi friends! So glad you're here. Today I'm sharing two DIY dupes for the Chic for Cheap challenge hosted by Christi Creates DIY and co-hosted by Betsy of Cutting Corners. My first project is inspired by the Wayfair chain link decor priced at $209. That's the one up there. I'm going to play with three different mediums to design a rustic looking chain link. Not similar to the one you saw, but a lot different. I'm going to use wire, the one that you can see in my hands right now, and foil and some air dry clay from Dollar Tree. So you can see I have just placed the wire in the foil, crumpled the foil, and now I'm going to kind of roll it up so that we don't have too many jagged ends or folds. Once that's done, this is the air dry clay that I'll be using, or modeling clay from Dollarama. Now, one thing you must remember is always keep a Ziploc and plastic close by, because you don't want it to dry off. So you can always place it in there. Seal it in those Ziploc plastic. I'm now going to kind of roll it too thin, and then I'm going to place the foil in there. And all these tools you can find at Dollarama or Dollar Tree as well. So I'm basically wrapping the foil with clay, and where the two ends meet of these wrapped up clay, I'm going to use a little water to kind of mesh them together. Yeah, at those ends. Yeah, that way it'll give you a better kind of. I mean, you won't see the transition between the two folds. Then. That's how it's looking right now. I think one of the mistakes I made was, especially for the second one, is that I made it slightly thin. The clay. I should have kept a little bit thicker. But then you're worried if you're keeping too thick, it might crack when it dries. But again, when you keep it thin as well, it dries. So I mean, it cracks. So yeah. So I suppose I'm doing this for the first time as well. So it's um, learning as I go along. I'm using this bottle to give it some shape. You can just pinch some excess over there so that it blends. I just love the rustic look that's going to come out of this, because it's not like smooth, and um, you can make out it's clearly that it's handmade, and I think that's what I like the most about it. The one we've seen, or our inspiration, of course, is white, but mine, I think I'll be making it black. Oh yeah, one of the things is always, whatever bits and pieces are left, you should always wrap it up in the Ziploc plastic container. Look, in spite of it, I have some cracks. Now that it's air dried, I'm going to use some black acrylic paint. This was, I think, such a good experience having to paint on this. Fill out. I've started from the outside and I'll work my way inside to fill up all the nooks and crannies and the crevices. Yeah, I think I love these challenges because they kind of really bring us out of our comfort zone and experiment with different materials and different techniques, which we wouldn't generally do. Right, so now I'm going to spray paint it because I wanted a slight shine to it, a finished look. So I'm using Rust-Oleum's black. So yeah, this is the twist that I came up with for my inspiration piece from Wayfair, and I absolutely love it. It looks gorgeous, really. It has a subtle, glamorous look to it as well. So I'm quite pleased with it. And now for my second DIY dupe, which is inspired by this wire decorative bowl by Wayfair for a whopping $102. Whoa. So let's see what I come up with. My idea is to replace the wire with jute twine. I'm using the base of this fish bowl sealed in saran wrap to give it some shape. Here I'm adding some Fevicol glue with a little bit of water, stirring it, mixing it well. Next I'm going to keep this jute twine. I'm going to cut a little bit of it and dip it in the glue, like so. I'll just make sure that once I dip it also, I'll make sure that one end of the twine, I keep it close. I mean, keep it on top so that, I can get a hold of the entire thing. I mean, once it goes in, then there's no way to get it out. You get a mishmash of everything. So, yeah. Now, I need this twine to be soaked in glue. However, I don't want it to be dripping. So I've created a hack. And this hack is actually quite simple. Nothing great about it. I've just used this Pringles can lid, and you'll just see in the next clip. I've given it a criss and cross cut in the center. So, and then I'm going to pull the jute twine through it. So once I pull it through the crisscross slit, you'll see that it'll squeeze out all the glue, and I won't be getting any excess then. You'll just see that now. There. Yeah. And now I'm going to just place the jute twine through there. and pull it out. There you go. See that? So it's taking away all the excess glue in the cup. And now I'm just going to start wrapping it. I'm going to take wrap it. Now, one thing I must tell you is this is one project where you have to be a little bit patient, and because if you're not patient, it can be really messy. Yeah, so this was the first lot with the first batch, and I took I think around 4 batches like that, and this is how it turned out. It's not dry as yet. Oh yeah, I missed telling you one thing as well. I've also put some starch powder in this so that it kind of remains stiff. And I have dried it in the sun. Luckily enough, we had some sun. Last week was horrible with the rains, but this past couple of days the sun has really been out. So yeah, got it dried, and now I'm gently trying to remove the twine, and in some ways also squeezing them together so that if there shouldn't be a lot of space also between the twine. See, that's how it's come off, the saran wrap. I'm going to pull that out, and once that's out, see, in spite of the fact that I've removed such a lot of the glue, you can still see bits and like flakes of the glue. So I'm going to use the tweezers, and I'm going to use the brush, the tippy brush from Dollar Tree, to get rid of that. And give it a nice clean. I'm going to give it my first coat, which is black by Rust-Oleum. Give it a full coverage because you don't want any of the brown peeping through. And then I'm going to let it dry. And once it's dried, then I'm going to give it a second coat. That's my second coat. And this was a metallic color, silver. I absolutely love it, by Rust-Oleum. If you'd like to know which was the color, I'll put it down in the description. I'm sorry. So yeah, and that's, if you'd like, you could give it a second coat. If you want the silver to be more prominent, you could give it a second coat, but I didn't want that. I liked it this way. I really like how it turned out, and it cost me something like $4, and that's it.